You're listening to the ASOTU CON Sessions by Effective live from ASOTU CON 2024.
All right, party people, we are at the EV segment of the show now, which I'm very excited about. My name is Elena Ciccotelli, host and producer of the EVs for Everyone podcast, and I am at ASOTU CON, the coolest conference ever, and I'm on the podcast stage.
It is.
Truly.
Yes. In
collaboration with Effective TV. Sitting across from me is the one and only John Foley, president of Recharge. Let's hear it for John Foley. I mean, John Foley is a legend. So, John Foley, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How about you?
I'm excellent.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Oh man, this is such a great time to be, yes, collaborating and having conversations, but also to be like in the trenches. And I want to spend a day at Recharge with you, John Foley, because you are doing all the correct things in selling EVs, right? Because the session is really called Selling EVs Right Now.
Yes.
Are you selling EVs right now?
We're selling EVs right now.
Let's double check with Becca. Becca, where are you? Are you selling EVs right now? Yes? All right, we are selling EVs right now. So let's get to the meat of the conversation. If people don't understand how epically awesome you are, I need people to understand how amazing you are, John. So let's talk about Recharged. Where did this idea come from, and when did you get started?
Sure. I feel like I get asked this question specifically at ASOTU CON because that is where it was born. That's where the idea was born. I was here at the first ASOTU CON, kind of in between, things, and deciding what I was going to do next. And I had some ideas I was going to chase down, but all of a sudden, I was watching a presentation and just kind of talking about the wave of used EV inventory that was coming to market, and I was like, man, this is it. Tons of focus on the new car side, OEM driven certainly, but like on the used car side, nobody's really focused on, delivering the experience that a buyer might need to make the decision to buy a used EV. And I was like, I can do this. Like, this is a problem I can go solve. So that was it. I was off and running from there.
That was the moment. That was the divine intervention of saying, like, this is the problem I'm going to go and solve, and I'm going to go solve it better than anyone else. Ooh, are those fighting words? I don't know.
Yeah, hey, listen,
we are at ASOTU CON, so I don't know if those were fighting words.
I've got, there are a lot of friends in this business who are on the same mission I'm on, and there's plenty for all of us, and we all do well because we're all doing well. We are. So I want to get dialed into your training that you kind of have your sales team go through, because every time I've either had you on my podcast or you've been on the ASOTU podcast or on the many stages, we take this show on the road, So on those occasions, you're always talking about how you are really able to get this buy-in from your staff on this is what we're here to do. And walk me through, if you can, some of those steps that you take to get your staff on board, get excited, and to really be almost like an advocate for the customer in this EV journey. And by the way, John invented the phrase EV curious, just FYI. Can we get a hand for John, like, EV curious? I think what I said is I created a space for it to be okay to be EV curious.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You made it okay.
Yeah, listen, I mean, there's not like an off-the-shelf LMS out there for training, used EV salespeople, right? Yep. And certainly there's some stuff being built out there that will help our industry as a whole. So, if you spend time in the Experience Center with us, you'll find that there's like content streaming all the time. We're learning about all of the cars and whether new or used, and hearing about some of the problems that people have had with ownership or whatever. But the thing that is going to help me and help our customers who visit us is to have people who are just naturally curious. And so we don't come across anything that we don't want to dig in and learn more about as a team. And so we're always learning, and we'll continue to always be learning. That's who we are.
But if the team that I have is not curious, then like it dies pretty quick and it doesn't work.
Well, and also too, the tech on these vehicles changes pretty rapidly, and I imagine like everybody's got to. I mean, whether you're, your specialty is used EVs, or if you're selling new EVs, like you need to be up on all of that education. Like, is there any like way that you're able to keep that super streamlined in your team?
Early on when we had a little bit more time, we would do like lunch and learns, and so. We would go out and learn all these things individually and then come back as a team and be like, oh, I can't wait to share all the stuff I've learned, and that's great. But today it's a little bit more fast paced. And so we're sharing those things in real time as fast as we can. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot like the technology side. We'll go spend a lot of time in these cars, hands on, driving, learning, testing, really understanding like what the buyers are ultimately going to be experiencing. So
yeah, no, and I think really one of the biggest components that I keep hearing over and over and over again in all of these interviews is butts and seats. Where's Michael Wheatley? Shout out to Michael Wheatley from Recurrent. Yes, butts and seats. That was one of the themes that came up today in one of the interviews, and it's like that. Yes, it makes so much sense. It's like you can't talk about an experience without having that actual experience. So is there any stories? I know you have one particular person at your store who is all about EV, very excited. I think, I forget what you said, what car he has that's like...
Well, we've got, I would say everybody on our team is very EV excited.
Right.
And everybody comes from a different background. So I have like, a sales leader. He's been a director for me in the past. He's a Bolt owner like you.
Yes, Bolt owner.
And then I've got one of my guys is a reformed technician. But he grew up as a technician, or I say reformed technician, reformed ICE owner. But he is, his background is as a technician, and so he's very curious about the inner workings of EVs and constantly learning more and more about how they work and gets more excited every day.
Well, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit from your actual team to an episode. I'm going to harken back to an episode that we did at NADA earlier this year. You said, Elena, I'm going to give you the exclusive. And I'm like, oh, exclusive. And John announced that, we're opening up the dealer marketplace.
That's right.
So fast forward, so that was back in February, fast forward to May. How is that going? What is it doing? And give us the update.
Sure. The short version is we're selling cars on the dealer marketplace, which is fantastic. So, we began a pilot with a few dealer partners who are listing their inventory on recharge.com. And we're selling those cars for them, and it's been very exciting. It's a different process than selling a car that's right there on your lot, certainly, but we're prepared for it, and the dealers have been pumped. When we call and we're like, hey, we just sold this car, and they're like, they didn't know how they were going to sell it, and so they were excited to see it go, and so yeah, it's been great so far, and here we go.
Here we go. Yes, we are hitting the accelerator. Okay, so to close us out, I know before we hit the podcast stage, we were chatting a little bit. We both have dogs, right? So we're both dog lovers. If your dog could choose any EV to ride in, what EV would that be?
Yeah. You know how they always say like owners and dogs like begin to like look like each other?
Oh God, are we going to go down this rabbit hole?
I feel like my favorite, EV to drive is the R1T. And I know that my dog would love to have his head hanging out the window of that. Just loving
life.
I think we're aligned there.
Yeah, the dog's name is?
Raider.
Raider, like Indiana, like Raiders of the Lost Ark? No,
like Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, You hear where my head is at. Oh my gosh. Everybody give a huge round of applause for John Foley. John, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this ASOTU CON session by Effective. If you want more content like this, you can check out our other podcasts. We have a daily show called The Automotive Troublemaker, Monday through Friday. Here on podcast, also live streamed on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. We also have a long-form podcast called Auto Collabs. And if you just want to go a little deeper into this community, you should sign up for our regular email. We put our heart and soul into it. You can get it for free by going to asotu.com. We'll see you next time.